I'm Cece Mitchell with Iowa Public Radio Studio One. I'm here at Hoyt Sherman Place with Adam, Luke, Ryan, and Brian of the band Guster. Thanks for taking the time to talk with me today, and welcome back to Des Moines.
Cece.
So a very important holiday just passed, Guster Day, which is January 15th in Boston. How did you spend your Guster Day this year?
It also happens to be my wife's birthday, which is an interesting conflict, but I spent it with her on her birthday.
Love to hear it. So you guys are right in the middle of the second leg of your We Also Have Eras tour, not to be confused with a certain other Eras tour. And these performances, they're more than just a concert. There's acting and skits and costume changes. How did you guys come up with this idea for this tour, and how has it been going so far?
Choreography. You left out choreography.
Oh, good. Okay.
We just were imagining what our own Eras tour would be like, and kind of ran with it. It's chronological, so it shows how the music evolved from our college days to our midlife crisis days. But also we imagined some storytelling in between with theatrical bits, and the script just kind of flowed out of us with the high points and low points of our journey together. And, for people who've seen us 15, 20 times, it's something very new.
So, Adam, you and your wife, Lauren, founded the nonprofit Reverb, which aims to make touring and other aspects of the music industry more environmentally sustainable. For years now, Guster has released climate impact reports and promoted many green volunteer projects around your shows. What would you say are some eco-friendly touring habits that some other bands around here can learn from you guys? And what role did sustainability play in planning for tonight's show in Des Moines?
I think in general, the industry still has a lot of disposable stuff around it, right? So that by default, like single-use plastic water bottles and everything backstage tends to be throw-outable as opposed to reusable. So just changing your environmental rider, like the hospitality rider, instead of asking for only green M&Ms, maybe ask for actual reusable dishware and silverware, or bring your own. So that's some easy, like low-hanging fruit stuff to do. On this particular tour, we have $1 ticket going to Reverb, which will help Reverb. It's called Music Decarbonization Project, where we're actively working with how the music industry powers itself right now. So festival power is typically done with diesel generators. We're replacing that with solar-powered batteries. We've done that at Lollapalooza and Willie Nelson's Luck Reunion and Coachella and a bunch of places like that. So that's been cool. And then here tonight, we have Support and Feed, which is a nonprofit that supports plant-based eating, and so we're asking fans to join us in the commitment of eating one plant-based meal a day for a month.
That's awesome.
One a day?
Yeah. Aren't you doing that, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm doing it every day. Plant-based.
Cereal counts.
What if you're intermittent fasting and you don't even eat that meal? I eat so little meat, it's no food. Does that count?
Sure.
Okay. Actually, I've been doing pretty good on one a day.
Well, because the oatmeal, like we have, some of it's kind of built into what we have.
Yeah, I eat yogurt for breakfast. There's no meat in it.
Well, but it has dairy.
Oh, that's
but we have a lot of non-dairy
yogurts. Is it vegan?
Yeah, plant-based.
Oh, shoot. All right, I'll
fail.
try better. I'm sorry, plants.
So, Ryan, you hosted a very personal human interest sort of program for PBS in Vermont.
Oh, you did your research. This is like Nardwar of Iowa. Go on.
So you met people and you went places in the name of education and entertainment. What's a discussion from Making Friends with Ryan Miller that sticks out in your mind?
Wow, that's a great question. I haven't thought about that in a long time. You know what's fun about that show is that I had just moved to Vermont and I was trying to make friends, so I started a show called Making Friends with Ryan Miller, and I met probably like my best friend on that show, and I just talked to him for an hour on the phone today. So I guess that's pretty fun. You can go watch us meet for the first time on camera. And I talked to him today in Iowa for an hour. I told him about all my troubles.
I love that. So you also brought the rest of Guster onto the show for a concert in an abandoned coal mine in Burlington, Vermont. How did you get that idea, and what's become of that mine ever since?
Oh, it was a coal plant. It wasn't in the ground. It was above. That sounds way more fun though. I wish we had done that. Oh, they tried. Burlington's trying to do things, but now it's just a metal frame. Yeah, I think I was on sort of a think tank of trying to reimagining a think tank of people that were trying to reimagine this really cool building that's on the waterfront. Like the Burlington waterfront in Vermont, just like most waterfronts in America, was for the 80s was just it was an industrial wasteland. It was just full of garbage, junk, waste. Bernie Sanders actually was a huge part of the reason that got cleaned up. And this was sort of the last vestige of industry that was sitting there. So we were trying to figure out how to turn it into a usable space for the community, but it was like so full of asbestos and everything. Now it's just literally it's a frame called the Moran frame, and maybe one day they'll do something. Otherwise now it's just like a weird piece of sculpture.
Sure. So, Brian, they call you the Thunder God, and for good reason.
My name is, come on, the Thunder God.
So, could you talk to us a little bit about ascending into the clouds during your show at MGM Music Hall last year?
We found the cheapest possible rigging company. Whether they had a license or not was not of concern, as long as the price was right.
You're gonna throw them under the bus right now?
No one knows their name. And so I wore like a rock climbing style harness through the whole first set, and I had to wear 4 pairs of underwear because in sound check it hurt my thighs when I went up like Peter Pan over the crowd. But during the show it didn't hurt and I didn't fall. And we got great value out of the situation. But yeah, it was a real thrill.
You've got a lot of cool drums with you from Africa and Latin America. What kind of drum do you think more people should know about?
Well, the African drum of which you speak that I play is called the djembe. And I had a middle schooler just the other night checking out my kit. And I introduced him to the djembe, saying that if you want to start on hand drums, this is a great place to start because you get like 3 real distinct tones very easily. You can get a real low note from hitting it in the middle. You can get like a slap, and you can get a pingy note on the edge. So it's almost like a drum set all in one if you want it to be. And so, yeah, I enjoy playing my djembe. Love Brent. The Thunder God.
So, Luke, you joined the band in 2010, so it's been a while now. What was that integration into Guster like?
Oh, what was the integration into Guster like? Well, it was pretty easy because we'd been friends for 7 years before I joined, so we all knew each other well. We'd done some writing together, we'd done some recording together. I've been in bands that opened up for them, yeah, it was really easy. Plus, my predecessor, Joe Pisapia, is also a close friend, and so the whole transition was real seamless.
So outside of Guster, you've worked with some of Studio One's favorite artists on some of our favorite albums.
All right, let's go.
Yeah,
like who?
Like Sunflower by Briston Maroney,
Oh.
Loverboy by Brett Dennen,
Oh, yeah.
Remind Me Tomorrow by Sharon Van Etten.
Oh yeah, you're
and
killing
more.
it.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Keep saying something
Tell me
about
other
me.
awesome
Tell me more
records I've
about
made.
me.
Just
This
to
is so
name a few,
fun.
Just to name a few. So what's one record that you're particularly proud of? And do you have anything else coming out in the works that we should know about?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to answer that question with 3 parts. First, favorite record that we've made since I joined the band was with Richard Swift, because Swift was a really important musician and artist to all 4 of us here, and it was wonderful and educational and informing experience to make that record with him, and I still think about that process every day. Favorite record I've made outside of Guster, the Sharon Van Etten record was really good, but there's 3 sisters from Watford, England, named the Staves, who were on Nonesuch, and we made a record together in London a few years ago, and they're just so wonderful and warm, and that was a really fun one. I played basically every instrument, and then it was a couple different drummers. Tom Skinner from that band The Smile, Tom York's band, who's like just a stunning musician. That was really fun working with Tom Skinner. Yeah, and then other projects coming up right now. Well, the biggest and most exciting project is for the last 19 months I've been building my first and forever recording studio with my dad. So in between Guster touring and sessions and work outside the band, basically I've just been doing construction on my studio. And so I'm really excited to have like my dream and world-class forever studio back home in Vermont. And that should be done this spring. So that's what I'm most excited about wrapping up. It feels incredible there.
Yeah, that's super exciting.
Thanks for asking all those good questions.
Of course.
That's real cool.
So to all of you guys, Guster is now over 30 years old, and you guys have been like pretty much constantly touring the majority of those.
I'm
30+
35.
years. Of course. So looking back, what have been some of the most special moments with the band?
At one time, I had a rigging thing at MGM in Boston. We already talked about that.
Adam threw up all over me on Lakeshore Drive when he was really drunk.
That was special. You weren't that mad, which is amazing.
That's true.
I don't think that's a keeper, though.
We did a whole tour with the Bare Naked Ladies, and I had whooping cough.
It seems like these are the moments that stick out in our brain. Most of them are. I mean, the reality is we all really love touring. That's why we are still. That's part of why we're still doing it. We also still have more music to make, and we're excited about what we're creating musically. But I think we all really enjoy being out on the road, and I think that lends itself to why we are still a band. We still love it, and we still like each other, and I think that's, for me, it's hard to be like, oh, this one time. There's like a million. Like every time we tour. It'd even be hard to say, well, what happened this tour, even just this tour that was special. So, yeah, I think we really appreciate, maybe more than ever, the fact that we can, like, who gets to be in their 50s and go make music out on the road and do what they were doing with the same guys they were doing it with in their 20s, and like go back to that life when we have kids at home and wives at home that are amazing, that will let us do this. But to actually go back in time in a weird way, but also with the experience and the material that we have, that's way better than the stuff we think we originally made when we were 18.
I'm 35. Also, remember when we played at Gunners in Iowa City?
Yeah, that's a good Iowa story.
That's really the end of the story. Because we would play Gunners, it was like on the way to go to Colorado, and when we were in our van, we would have to find somewhere to play. And we played Gunners, and there'd be like 9 people there. But the guy that ran it, his name was Gunner. And it was Gunners with a Z, I think, right? Yeah. And he would like give us a bunch of good food, and we would drink and stuff.
Yeah, after the show was over, he'd open the bar up, and we would just hang out. And we remember doing like trust falls off the bar, and we'd catch each other.
And then we wrote a reggae song called "We're Playing in Iowa," but somebody heard once, and then people would ask for it for years in the future. I remember that in Iowa.
Will we be hearing that song tonight?
No, definitely not.
Unfortunate.
No, it's fortunate.
So our time, it's almost up, but we wanted to close out with a little game. As you guys know, the Grammys were this past Sunday, and we saw Beyonce and Kendrick Lamar and Sierra Farrell win a bunch of awards, take them home. But we want to know what you guys thought was the best music of the last year. So we're going to call it the Gusties, as determined by Guster. I'm going to give you all each a category, and each of you will pick a nominee. So fighting is encouraged but not required amongst the Guster Academy. We'll see what everybody has to say, okay? Let's start. What was the best pop album of the year?
Chapel Rowan.
Yeah, I agree on that one. And doesn't the Grammys agreed with that too?
They did.
Yeah.
She's just got like some next level melodies, and the way she sings them, it's like, oh wow, this person's going to be making music and relevant music for the rest of my life.
What about the best rock album of the year?
Do we have to pick from the existing?
Yes.
No.
No, not from the existing Grammys.
Can
Nominate
any of us
anyone.
name any rock album?
Last year.
Recent.
We cannot.
Does Luke have any? Do you have any ideas?
The Idols record was pretty good. That Kenny Beats and
I
Nigel
know.
Godrich co-produced.
I know there's records I've listened to. This
Yeah,
is just
the Idols record that Kenny Beats and Nigel Godrich co-produced was pretty cool because it was strange and outside and didn't sound like other rock records.
Well, I'll tell you what I really liked. This might be more alternative than that, but the last Slow Dive record
Oh, that was beautiful.
is so good, and it just made me go back and appreciate not only the entirety of the Slow Dive catalog, but also the Mojave 3 catalog and also the Neil Halstead catalog.
That's right.
And it just kind of when I heard that record and how much I fell in love with it this year, I was just like, this guy, everything he's done is just such an incredible. I just 3 really different kinds of records too. Yeah.
Let's keep talking about that Slow Dive record. I'm going to keep talking about it. It's so good. It's
so
so
good.
wonderful. And, we love all 3 of those bands, Mojave 3, the Neil solo records and Slow Dive records. But the new Slow Dive, it also Neil produced it, and he did a lot of it at his house, like down on the coast. I just think it's so beautiful. We got it on vinyl. We listen to our house all the time. I wish that was more recognized. There's a lot of music that I wish was more recognized.
Yeah, sure thing. What about the best rap album of the year?
Oh, Brian.
You love rap.
Well, my kids were just constantly singing the Kendrick Lamar, They Not Like Us, which is about Drake being a pedophile.
NPR.
I was watching the Tiny Desk of Doechie's last night. It was so
Have you
good.
ever seen her before?
So good.
Have you ever seen her until last night?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I love the Tiny Desk.
Yeah.
I love watching
but
that.
She's insane.
Unbelievable.
She's unbelievable.
Yeah.
She's
So that's
like
my
Bjork.
favorite. Yeah.
She's just like on some next level
I
shit.
love it.
It's amazing.
I love
yeah.
it.
Why has everyone done Tiny Desk except Guster?
That's a great question.
But you work for NPR. You
Yeah,
must
go
know
ahead,
the
Cece.
answer.
I don't have the connections like that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, get on their case about that. For
Cece,
sure.
what about you?
What about me?
Yeah.
Best rap
What was
album
the
of
best
last year.
I did think they made the right choice with the Doechii album.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's really-
yeah.
she's really
yeah, I think we're
special.
just starting to hear about her and
Yeah.
more and more and more in the next 5-10 years for sure. What about best new artist?
Does SZA count in that category?
They always choose artists that have been around
For like
a long
1,000
time
years.
as the best new artist.
I'm
I
trying
think
to
it
think
counts
of what
enough,
was
huh?
kind of new that I liked. It's almost might be too new, but I'll tell you a record that I fell in love with like 3 days ago. It's this guy named Cameron Winter. He's the singer of a band Goose. Not Goose. Geese, not Goose. Not the jam band. There's like a weirder band that went on tour with King Gizzard called Geese, and he made this insane solo record that the production is all over the map and the words are kind of seemingly word salad, but they're actually super beautiful. And I just like the other morning I couldn't sleep and I listened to the whole thing on my headphones and read the words, and it's like one of those records I was like laughing in my bunk and stuff, and just like he would do a melody and I was like, please sing that melody. He would sing it and it was really incredible. So I think that just came out, so we might have been a 25 record, but I'm just so excited to like see what happens with that dude and see how I feel about that record.
I'd like to share one. When I go back to my most listened to albums of the previous year, there's a artist several years old from Scandinavia named Dina Ogon, Dina. Second word is Ogon. It's a husband and wife duo with a rhythm section, so there's 4 total, and they've made 2 full records so far, and they're beautiful and wonderful. And I keep going back. Melodies are all time. Yeah.
Okay, finally, one last question. What was the best show that Guster played in 2024?
Oh,
It's got to be easy. Well, it would either be Red Rocks or the LA Philharmonic, or it would be the Guster, or the Ryman, or the Guster Festival on the Ocean.
Yeah.
Those
I mean-
were all so like epic.
yes.
LA Philharmonic, people said it was too quiet, so that's out.
Okay, out.
The Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, it was our first time there in a long time, and we felt the spirit of that room. But we also did a headlining show at Red Rocks with the Colorado Symphony. That was just such a slam dunk. It was the 25th anniversary celebration of Lost and Gone Forever. We had our producer Steve Lillywhite come in from abroad and join us on stage. Very special night. So yeah, it's just amazing to have so many shows in 2024 that could fit that description. So feel very, very grateful.
Well, the Gusties are of course, an honor as high as the Grammys. So thanks so much for participating. And I'm sure the best Guster show of 2025 will be Hoyt Sherman Place.
Oh, yeah,
of
definitely.
course.
I can't
of
wait to
course.
play there.
Well, Adam, Luke, Ryan, and Brian, thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Thanks for having us,
Thanks,
Cece.
Thanks for having us.
I'm Cece Mitchell with Iowa Public Radio Studio 1.
Great job.
Thanks, y'all. Hey, Cece.
Yes.
Thanks for having such thoughtful questions. That was really wonderful.